Hey everyone, welcome back to the StarCraft 2 Zombiebounty Community YouTube channel. Today we're going to watch a very special replay review because this game was part of a Zombiebounty challenge. If you don't know what Zombiebounty challenges are, they're a weekly or monthly challenge that's posted on the StarCraft 2 Zombiebounty Discord channel under the ZB Challenge channel, and they're just different types of challenges that players can try to test their zombie bounty skills. And so this one was a special challenge that asks players to survive for 10 minutes on the highest health setting they could handle, all by themselves. And so we're going to be watching today two replays by the winner of that challenge, RubyNinja, who survived as Zerg and Terran for 10 minutes on first 2.5 as Zerg, and then I think as Terran on times 4. And so let's sit back and jump in as we watch this build. For the sake of keeping the game running, there was a easy AI player, but they simply were there to respect the melee conditions of the game so the player could complete the challenge. If you want to try this challenge for yourself, you could also just play it on the custom Golden Micro Jail game called Golden Micro Jail ZBC 12. So as we see here, Ruby jumps in with a hatchery at the front, which is typically a technique you see for Terran, who love to drop those planetary fortresses at the top to kind of create that choke. But here we see Ruby doing it as Zerg. And with that quick gas, he's also already got his lair at 2 minutes. And so this build really seems to go down to the wire. And if you're thinking about using these builds that you'll see in an actual Golden Micro Jail game, these would be really great examples of what you could do. So it looks like he has a full wall that he's going with, using the evolution chamber there on the left to kind of close it off. And here we see him actually opening with spore crawlers, which for some of you at home who are watching this might be confused by that, but the reason I think he did that, especially with the Overseer vision, is to prevent those range zombies from taking down his hatchery, which actually can oftentimes be a problem in Golden Micro Jail games, because your range zombies, they don't respect the wall as much, and they don't really care about the choke as much. They can just fire from behind those range zombies. Now here we see a very interesting technique being used here, the changeling. And so Overseers can create a changeling which can mimic an enemy opponent unit. And that's exactly what he's done here with the Zergling mimicking the zombies. And so the zombies aren't attacking it, and that's creating this really beautiful kind of clustering up and choke with the zombies, so that his spore crawlers can just take out those range zombies, and then his spine crawlers can take out his melee zombies. So kind of a bad spawn of the queen there. I think he was probably hoping for it to come out here. If we look back at his main base, it looks like he's doing this just enough so that he can then get those lurkers out to take over. It also seems like he is trying to pump out some queens though, because every so often you'll get a range zombie, a melee zombie, who will attack that hatchery. And so you do need to try and keep it healed. The only downside of this hatchery, it looks like, is that the units do spawn on this side of the hatchery, not on the back side. So it seems like the Hydralisk and the Queen that he tried to get out both didn't make it, and so he's just going to be, it looks like, resorting to overlords. Perhaps he's also maybe building units to try and create some buffer for the hatchery, because if you don't know this, Zerg larvae are incredibly strong. They might only be 200 health, but they're something like 10 armor. And so, anyways, there's a lot of nuance in this strategy that I think is a good example of what a high-level zombie player can really achieve when they have micro and they have strategy. Everything from the changeling to using the larva to kind of box out the zombies, to using the queens, to healing the hatchery, all while kind of teching up lurkers in the back, and then getting to a place where he can just kind of hold indefinitely. Even the overseer giving him vision so that the spore crawlers can shoot over the wall before those range zombies arrive is just, yeah, really quite impressive. So at this point, the zombies have mutated at least once or twice. The zombies mutate about every, I think, 3 to 6 minutes, which means they increase in damage and in health from what their original starting health was. But it doesn't really matter, because now he's got those lurkers, and yeah, he's in pretty good shape. Except for these these detector zombies, which are the ones that have the shields. You gotta watch out for those, because they can see those lurkers. But yeah, I mean, it looks like it's 6 minutes and 40 seconds. He's just massing lurkers now, and he's really gotten himself to a really great position with this Zombiebounty challenge, which really was a challenge that showcases some of the best defenses that you can pull off on Golden Micro Jail. And so this is a really great one to have what basically looks like 24 lurkers by 7 minutes. And now from here, he can just tech up to gosh, whatever he wants, start getting those upgrades, and yeah, from here on out he can just ride the wave to 10 minutes. And so yeah, revisiting some of what Ruby did in this build that's really great is he used that hatchery as a wall, which sometimes players are just kind of limited in their imagination, thinking that only Protoss can pull that off, but a good Zerg can do that well, especially if it's with the intention of bringing up those lurkers behind the wall by minute, 5, 6, or 7. Still massing those queens because he wants to keep that hatchery healed. It does seem like that hatchery will take damage over time, even with the lurkers, and so it is important to have those queens there to heal the hatchery so you can keep that choke. With that hive, it looks like the end game for him is broodlords, and so this would be again a really great end game for Protoss, because what you really want to take advantage of with any race when you're trying to kill zombies is units that basically create free damage, damage that doesn't cost anything to them. And so lurkers, they can just engage in free damage because the zombies can't see them, so they can do tons of damage. And then of course the broodlords can do free damage because they can shoot those little units that hatchlings that can go and do the damage without actually hurting the broodlord. So other races have that, Widow Mines do that free damage. They can do damage without it costing anything to them because the zombies can't, see them. Tanks kind of qualify as free damage because, they have such long distance, along with liberators as well. So yep, here we see Ruby in the next few minutes will be reaching a 10-minute mark and getting those brood lords, which allows him to just have that end game zombie defense, which makes him pretty much impenetrable, even though he's having to defend so many zombies by himself. So let's move on now to game 2. The next game is Ruby playing as Terran on ×4, and so I'm really curious to see this game. Alright, so here we are now watching Ruby playing as Terran in the same Zombiebounty challenge. And so, again, the challenge was who could survive for 10 minutes on the highest health multiplier. And so, as we just saw, he pulled off Zerg at 2.5. Now he's going to try Terran on ×4. And again, you know, these strategies and these builds you're seeing might not always translate perfectly to a golden micro jail game, where you need to also be focusing on offense as well. These builds primarily focus on just really strong and impressive defense. By the way, if you've ever wondered what these critters are, these are critters you get on any coffee mug map if you're a donor to the community Discord channel. So if you feel like get yourself a critter, maybe consider donating some money to the Discord. That money goes towards tournaments, projects, and videos like these. Alright, so let's jump in here and see what Ruby's doing. So, as we saw, he opened with a gas and a depot, and now a second gas. And just like with his Zerg build, he's opening with the command center. A little different though, because the command center is kind of off position here to the right compared to the hatchery, which comprised of the wall in his last game. In this game, it seems like the engineering bay and the depot will be what most of this wall will be made up of, and the planetary will be kind of tucked in behind the choke, presumably becoming a planetary fortress. So no barracks yet, which means that after probably test running this build several times, he found that he just didn't have enough money to tech up, that all he really kind of had was the money to kind of get that command center and that planetary, which after you build it all ends up costing you about 550 minerals and 150 gas, so it's very expensive. But now we see the teching up starting with the barracks, and just like in last game, you see those turrets being thrown down to kind of counteract those range zombies, which can be such a pain in the butt because they don't respect chokes. They just shoot right over and kill whatever they want to kill. Here we see a bit of a what's called a kite unit or a kite worker. This worker Ruby will most likely use to kind of bounce in and out of the line of fire in order to drag some of the zombies away, if perhaps maybe they're attacking this wall, which, if that wall goes down, will create a greater surface area for the zombies to attack the planetary fortress, and would just most likely immediately annihilate it. Looks like here that you know, he spends that first 100 gas on getting the Neo Steel armor, and because he's Terran, doesn't have those overseers or those overlords, so instead he floats that barracks to kind of provide that vision, which again is a great alternative for any players who are you know, wanting to try and kill those range zombies to cut down on how much they compromise a player's wall, to kind of just use a floating Terran barracks instead. But yeah, as is common with Golden Micro Jail, the money starts to really flow at about 3 minutes, and so that's when you can start really kind of dropping a bunch of stuff. The one downside of this build, though, is that it does cost a lot of money in repairs. As you can see here, he's spending, gosh, looks like probably about 10 minerals a second, 10 minerals and gas a second just repairing. So that's quite expensive, and it does affect how much he can build at one time. Even though he has all these starports, he has to kind of slowly ramp up production rather than just building all that up. So it looks like he has Neo Steel done and now has range done, which will be great because it'll allow him to reach here. Most people don't realize that if you build a planetary back like this, it really can only reach to about maybe here. It's not until you get range that you can start kind of hitting stuff in the back, which can create a lot of problems for players. Another smart little technique, though, is to line the wall here on the right with turrets. So if you watch the zombie mechanics video, you know that when you wall, zombies will then try and find the closest point possible to the building they're trying to attack. Because when a zombie spawns, the first thought it has is, I want to find a building on the map and attack it. Because zombies have vision of everything, even if they don't have the ability to see through fog of war, even if they don't have vision of everything. And so these zombies here are probably targeting the depots, probably targeting the command centers and the starports, and so these turrets allow him to clip some of those, which makes his job easier when they come back around to the front. But yeah, once that wall can hold, you can see these starports just continuing to kind of pump those units out. And because he's experiencing such an influx of cash, he can disregard needing to build his supply depots out of proximity of the gas geysers and the minerals, because the zombies are now the most amount of income for him. And so it looks like the common theme between both these builds, which are both really impressive builds as far as defending on Golden Micro Jail is concerned, is that you want to get a really strong choke and wall for defending the zombies in the first 5 minutes, and then behind that is to get a really strong army as soon as possible that can kind of take over. And I think that probably is a really great technique when trying to defend, especially high HP zombies in Golden Micro Jail, or any kind of map for that instance, to get enough defense to kind of tie you over to then get higher tiered units who can take over defense. Otherwise, Ruby might find himself in a position where he has 4 planetaries here, and he's just healing the crap out of them, especially when they're 10 minerals and 10 gas per second each. And then, not until maybe 7, 8, 9 minutes in the game is he starting to kind of tech up, which can make it really tough to, go on the offense in a real life Golden Micro Jail game. But yeah, that wall is being very effective. These zombies are all trying to target probably buildings in and around here. And yeah, these liberators are just doing incredible work. He got that advanced ballistics upgrade from the fusion core, which allows him to just park these liberators right here and hit them as they come here along the ridge. In fact, I won't be surprised if he at some point just lowers that depot and allows them to all kind of roll over, but he doesn't need to, because with that advanced ballistics and with that ridge, he can just start targeting them that way along the ridge line. So a really great build here, and really fun to kind of watch how it's done on a high level, kind of pro zombie level, with somebody who has kind of pro zombie skills. And look at that, already getting uh, 2 weapons. So now those liberators do 80 damage, and then eventually do 85. So really great build for those first 10 minutes of golden micro jail when you're trying to defend as Protoss and Zerg. I hope you enjoyed these replay reviews of these builds and how to kind of hold and defend, especially against higher level zombies. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you online and seeing if you maybe try out some of these builds. Just maybe don't do it if I'm the guy next to you, because I sure would hate to have all those zombies in my base, right? Alright guys, well it looks like Ruby is maxed out, and he is about 30 seconds away from winning this game, so I think it's safe to say that this is a GG. At this point, he could just kill those SCVs if he wanted to, and get a bit more supply, but he doesn't really need to, because he's sitting fat and happy, with maxed out liberators and 2 weapons here any moment to make sure none of those zombies get into his base. Alright, well GG, good luck, have fun. I look forward to the next time I get to play with you on Golden Micro Jail.